Hi, pile number one, and welcome to today's reading. So, depending on when you're watching this, Venus just moved into Aries. So, I figured we're going to look into who is getting fire lit under their butt and who wants to chase you. So, the person that is coming through, first of all, this is someone you definitely were in a relationship with, at the very least, a situationship. You might even have a child with them. But this is definitely someone you had some sort of connection with where there was a falling out or a breakup happening. And this kind of person was super focused on their money. There might have even been some cheating involved, or take that only if it resonates. Or the other thing I'm getting is that they are someone who got cheated on and might even have a baby mama, especially because we got the mature woman here. So maybe someone who's older than you. And this person might have been supported or got away with it or whatever. And so this person's excuse was basically like, well, I'm focusing on my money and I'm focusing on my work because I don't want to get hurt. So it was very much making a lot of excuses as to why this person did not show up the way that they were supposed to. So they were basically doing the absolute bare minimum and never really taking responsibility for their emotions in any way, shape, or form. Not that they're incapable of it, they just didn't want to take responsibility for any of it. And the reason why they're chasing you, though, and this is like so funny. So they thought that they could focus on their money for a little bit and just do whatever they were doing, but they didn't expect you to either glow up or move on, or both. So either you went on a date with somebody new, or they heard through the grapevine that you might want to go on a date with somebody, or that you actually were on a date. I just see this like you're walking down the road with somebody, and somebody that you have mutual friends with this person that wants to chase you sees you out on the street, and they're like texting them or calling them. So they probably heard through the grapevine that you were going out on a date with somebody else and that you were looking pretty good. And now this person is really upset about it. They're just all up in arms about it. And it's kind of funny because obviously they had their shot, but to them, they don't like to lose ever. So to them, life is almost like a game. And that's why when they get hurt or they get cheated on or anything like that, they like retreat to lick their wounds. And the more bad things, quote unquote bad things, happen to them, the more they become hardened because they don't ever want to be the one that loses. It's, again, like, life is just like a game to them, and dating is like a game to them. But they didn't realize that even if you were the one who temporarily lost, to you, this was just opening, like, you're the kind of person who will sit at home and cry over a bucket of ice cream for like a couple of days, and then you just wake up one morning, you're like, nope, I'm done, I'm glowing up, I'm doing life. And this person just got like left behind almost because they thought that you would be grieving the relationship or the situationship a lot longer than you did. I don't think that you didn't take your time to heal. I think you actually did, but the person that you're asking about can't really understand almost how you did that so quickly, because to them healing takes forever and is only basically complete when there's something really, I want to say, like, objectively from our perspective, something negative coming out of it. So if they lose more empathy, or they're more hardened to people and more hardened to things, or they take their energy and pour it into money, and they're let's say cutting off family for a while because they're licking their wounds, but during that time they're going and working and making more money, to them that's successful healing. And this kind of person is, I mean, having an epiphany. Clearly they are thinking about you, they're thinking about everything that went wrong here, and they also feel like they had their perspective was almost like upside down, and they were kind of observing you doing better. And what was I supposed to say? I just lost my train of thought. So the way they handle relationships is that they are more an observer of relationships than they are in relationships, which is why they were also, like I said, observing you glowing up and doing better, because they're trying to basically study and analyze people so they can become, I want to say, like, better at the game. They are the kind of person who will study people just so they can become like, so they can become more sly. Or it reminds me of this one book that talked about like how to manipulate yourself into having friends or something like that. So they're the kind of person who observes, and they almost can't like figure you out because they were observing you and they assumed that you were maybe a lot more invested than you were, which is not to say that you weren't invested, but I think they overestimated how deep their impact was at the end of the day. And so they are now at a point where they feel like they need to reevaluate everything. I just heard they might have also started praying about it or manifesting you. You might actually feel them tugging at your energy, because I think this is a situation that you were actually manifesting, but I don't believe that you realized what you were actually manifesting. So that manifestation journey and that breakup and everything definitely came with nervous system activation, somatic reactions, anxiety, stuff like that. Maybe I just heard upset stomach. That could have been a big thing, and you maybe didn't understand why, but it was almost like your nervous system was flagging this situation, which you can manifest something that isn't meant for you, by the way. That's totally possible, but at the end of the day, that doesn't mean it's gonna actually last and stick around. So let's see. What do we have? Oh, these are stuck together. We have Riddle Fisher, Divination, Seeking Out and Finding Answers, Crystal Magic, Creation, Dawn, The Beginning, and we have Acorns, Invitation, Touch, Exchange, Connection. So, okay, so this person definitely wants to chase you, but I think that they are a little bit more careful on how they want to go about it. And it's you know, when some people want something really badly, and then, especially when they're Christian, they ask God for a sign or permission or something like that. I feel like this is what this person is doing. They're in the phase right now where they are connecting to whatever higher power they believe in, even though I keep seeing and hearing like they are also borrowing your divinity. So whatever you believe in spiritually, they were observing you and learning from you while also low-key rejecting it a little bit. And I think I saw this video on TikTok the other day where someone said that spirituality is on the rise, and especially the masculines are now more interested in it and are trying to figure out stuff and learn about it and then kind of like mansplain it, which is funny because this is the exact energy that I'm getting from this person, but just know it's not going anywhere. They're not doing very well, so they're not getting the answers that they're looking for, and they're not really connecting to any higher power, I think, the way they're used to. I think this is also the kind of person that if they were to like manifest something or pray for something and it didn't come through, they would normally blame themselves, but then they were watching you just live your life and kind of keep going, and even if you didn't get a manifestation or a prayer or something, you would just, you know, keep on keeping on, and they don't know what to do with that. I want to see if I can look into maybe a little bit difficult, like, but let's see if we can see what their next action might be, like if they are actually going to take action, because right now they're very much in the mindset of trying to bring you in spiritually. So if you're even sorry, oh my gosh, okay, they literally can't even talk because they can't even think straight. They don't even know what to say. They're like super tongue-tied. But if you are having dreams or nightmares, even, I don't know where I came from, sorry if you're having nightmares, but you might be getting I can see like an energy pulling, like a tug on it. I just see these like strings coming out from like between, I don't know if that's your like shoulder blade or the front of your, like the dip, you know, between what is that? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, what is going on? I feel like I'm losing my words. Anyway, I just see these two strings coming out of the front of your shoulder blade. I don't know. If you know which part of the body I'm talking about, please leave a comment down below. So I should know this. I should know better. Sorry, I'm trying to like see if I can get an answer while also trying to figure out what the hell's going on in their head, and it's weird because I see all of these words floating around, but it's also giving airhead. So it's just like, you know, like a cloud or a bubble just flying away with their words. That's kind of what I'm seeing right now. So even if they were to try and reach out right now, it would just probably be rambling nonsense. Think like getting a text message at 2 a.m. and them just being drunk and just ramble. That's the, not saying that they would actually do that, but that's the energy that I'm seeing. Okay. Okay, so communication is definitely blocked at the moment. So they are not necessarily planning on reaching out right now, which doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I do think it's probably eventually going to happen. But I think right now they don't feel very confident. They are super in their feminine energy, but like a twisted version of it. And I also think that they assume that if they were to reach out to you right now, you would reject them, which more power to you if that's what you want to do. But when, like, if they were to reach out right now, they feel, or know, maybe they intuitively know that they would cause a whole lot of chaos right now. It would just be literally opening up Pandora's box, depending on, like, either because of how they would reach out, or because of how you would react. Because you could very well be in the energy right now of even just them saying hi could literally push you over the edge. And they have a really close psychic tie to you, so they almost know, which is why it's so interesting that they were pushing this connection away so much and are now just looking at it, because they had a really, really tight psychic tie to you even back then. But for some reason, it just really scared them. It didn't really, again, I keep going to this, if they don't have a child with somebody, okay, then they could be the child in this situation where an older motherly figure, I don't know if it was mom necessarily, but an older motherly figure would have either shamed them for this or would have taken advantage of their gifts in some way, shape, or form and used it to their advantage. So they know they have these gifts, and I just see somebody constantly going back and forth between their spirituality and their traditional beliefs that they might hold. Which, again, even in spirituality, you have people who believe something more traditional, and then people who believe something more, like, think, for example, people who believe in reptilians or aliens or something, and then you have people who believe in spirituality who don't believe in that stuff, or you have people who believe in manifestation, but you have people who don't believe in the paranormal. So when I say traditional versus like spiritual, I don't mean necessarily traditional religion versus spirituality. I mean, even within the spiritual community, there's a lot of nuance to this. And this person in particular is fighting. I just see like a ping pong ball, like going back and forth. It's almost like they're fighting their own demons, but they consider both of it to be like a negative, but that's because of how they're using it. And they're not embracing it. They're not accepting it, because this requires a little bit of faith and tolerance for ambiguity, which I feel like this person very much like dislikes. They don't want to ever be caught off guard. They're the kind of person that has a backup plan to their backup plan. And you were the one who took the backup plan and lit it on fire. So good for you. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated. Let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one. Hello, pal number 2, and welcome to today's reading. So depending on when you're watching this, Venus just moved into Aries. So, I mean, you can look up your personal astrology chart to see how it affects you, but I figured it would be a cute idea to kind of see who wants to chase you, because Aries is all about bursts of energy and taking action. First of all, right off the bat, I don't think that this is a person you've ever been in a serious relationship with. So this could have either been a friends with benefits or a situationship, or you guys might actually just be friends. I don't necessarily get the vibe that you guys have like a really long, steady, stable history. But this is the kind of person that, so this person that's coming through, they feel like life has been really unfair to them, and that they have to work really, really hard to basically not just get rewards, but to deserve anything. So they're the kind of person that feels like if they don't put in all the work and then some, that life will basically punish them for it. And they do have a dark side, by the way. So there is a little bit of like obsession and jealousy within them. I think maybe a little more so than the average person. So what they've done instead is to really kind of lean into their work and their home and their stability. This could definitely be someone that travels a lot for work or is just on the go a lot. I also just heard someone who also works while they are out. So I saw this video on TikTok the other day of this guy who was like, this is what it's like to be self-employed. And he was at at some theme park with his family, but he was on the phone working while he was there. So this is the same energy that I'm getting from this. But this person that wants to chase you is someone who really, really desperately craves like a family and love, but they want a very specific kind of love. Like they have this very, very particular idea of how they want things to be. And I think that they've tried to date in the past several times and got heartbroken every time. So to them, they felt like they totally blamed themselves for everything. They blamed themselves every single time. And so they felt like they needed to completely reinvent themselves and more so try to become a better person and basically chase perfection. But the kind of perfection that they're chasing literally does not exist. Like, it's not real. I don't think that this is necessarily someone who is a workaholic at heart. Like, I get a lot of very soft energy from them. There's someone who's very nice and very kind and maybe does a lot of good for a lot of people and genuinely just wants to make the world a better place. And with you being in their life, with the transit that just happened, they almost had this, oh my gosh, kind of moment where you've been kind of like a steady force in their life, even if it hasn't been physical. This is more like even mental, like you've been in their head steadily all the time. Like they might be doing something really small and all of a sudden they're like thinking about you, or even thinking of you as an archetype if you don't know this person very well. But they're starting to put two and two together, that you are what they need in order to basically transform their entire personal life. And like going down that path with you is definitely taking a huge gamble for them that they normally would not take anymore. Like they used to, but it didn't really go anywhere for them in the past, because to them it's one of those situations where you see everybody around you getting in a relationship and getting married and starting a family, and you just feel like you're broken because you're on the outside of it, when they didn't realize that this was, I'm getting like orchestrated energy from this. And now they're at the point where they really want to just go after you. Oh, Jesus. Where they just want to go after you and chase you. Again, I think that at most this would have been a friends with benefits situation, but this could also be someone who maybe just, if you are a content creator, or if you're someone who's on the internet, they might have also been just watching you and kind of like studying you, and then decide they slowly want to come forward and maybe start off as friends to kind of test the waters, or maybe even coworkers, because we got all of pentacles here. So again, take it as it resonates if you don't immediately recognize this person, but this would be very small, delicate beginnings. So we have golden gift, magical help is on the way, and dragon's pet, communication between species, animal, pets, magical companions, and guardianship. And you have anything else? Yeah, the unicorn and the maiden, communication with unicorn, purification, and undercover action. So like I said, this seems like very divinely orchestrated, And if they are the kind of person that is a little bit more on the shy side, not because I think they're necessarily shy, I think they're very communicative and very open normally, but with you they're a little bit scared. It's because they can sense that this connection is a little bit more serious. Whether you are already in touch with them or not doesn't even matter. It's one of those things where you know that if you open that door, it's going to change your life forever, and you're not going to be able to walk that back. So they've been very cautiously kind of watching, because again, they are the kind of person that feels like they don't necessarily deserve love the way other people do, even if they desperately want it. But that darker side to them, which again, I don't even think it's as bad as they make it out to be, is something that they are very, very ashamed of. And they have a really hard time containing it, though. It's almost like you're bringing out this animalistic part of them that they've been trying to hide a lot. But I want to see if I can get, see if I can see what their next action might be, if they're even going to take action. The King of Pentacles, so you could be dealing with a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. The Eight of Wands in reverse. Okay, and we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So right now, like, again, I'm just reading states, so this can literally change at the drop of a hat, but right now, they are very, very careful not to reach out. I do believe it's going to happen. I don't think this is like forever, but I think right now they are just like, it's giving very, very Virgo, very meticulous, very tedious. They are almost trying to figure out the perfect moment, the absolute perfect moment to reach out, and they're trying to be really, really patient. But I think they're waiting for a moment that legitimately does not exist, because there's no such thing as a perfect moment. And I think they also know that, but it's easier to kind of like tell yourself that, you know, if I maybe wait a little longer. They basically don't want to waste their one and only shot, because they know how special this is and how much this will change their life and your life. So they are trying to be super composed. That's the word I was looking for. They're trying to be super composed because they want to come in when they're talking to you. So either contacting you for the first time, or kind of reaching out in a way that crosses maybe a little bit more of a line than they normally have. They want to look like they have it all together, when that is literally the furthest thing from the truth. Like, this person does not have it together. I can see them literally typing and just shaking with their hands because they're so in their feelings. Like I said, it's giving a very animalistic kind of energy, very primal, very, and again, I don't want to make it seem like it's uncontained, because I don't think that that's what it is. I do think they are normally someone who is pretty contained and wants to contain that as well, because I get the feeling that they don't want to scare you away. That's basically what it is. So they are the kind of person who wants to pounce, which is not something that I think, even with the past connections that they've had, that they felt this way. I think they were a lot more careful, which is probably why they are both a little confused and also a little worried, because you are basically, it's almost like you have the key to the chains that kept them locked up. I just see like Tyler Lockwood from Vampire Diaries just being totally, unlocked and just running wild, while they tried their hardest to keep all of that super, super tightly locked up. And to them, it was just easier to like stay single and not be in a relationship, because I think they have this, or had this gut feeling all along, that there might be one person out there who could unlock this, but because they didn't want to risk it, they just, focused on their work and on other stuff, and maybe even just hobbies as well. So I think they actually made one of their hobbies their actual work. But to them, it's also the more that they are either physically or mentally not at home and on the road all the time and just trying to distract themselves, they probably thought that it would be easier to contain this, but you just totally unlocked that demon in them, which I don't think is I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a very, it's giving like almost, I don't think that ritualistic is the right word, but this is definitely super, super primal, deep, cellular level kind of love. Think like lifetimes and lifetimes of love activation. So you definitely would have had at the very least, one lifetime with this person before. And that's why I think they know, because I think on a nervous system level they recognize you and they know what you are to them. And with Venus now moving into Aries, it's almost like that memory got activated for them. So yeah, and it's definitely coming out, it's leaking out sideways, leaking out everywhere. So if you feel like this is a person that you don't know yet, I would not be surprised though if you feel them watching you though. So you can tell energetically that you have like eyes on you, and it's one of those things where maybe you go into your comment section and there's several people leaving comments, for example, or people liking your photos or whatever, and you're just like, is that you? Is that you? Like you're a little bit, I'm getting a little bit on high alert, not necessarily paranoid, but you're definitely a little bit on edge and just, you got your ears up, you know, like you're looking sideways all the time. Like, is this person? What is going on? Is this the person watching me? So it's more of an energetic thing where you're a little bit more hyper vigilant. That's the word I was looking for. You're a little bit more hyper vigilant than you normally are, even though I don't believe that they are going to come in when they're ready in a very obvious way. I think it's going to be literally side door. Like they're going to come in sideways in a way that you don't expect, especially during a time where you don't expect it. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Let me know, and I will see you in the next one.